Alright, this is one thing I want to touch on, which is power tools for young people starting out. And tell you about a mistake I made. When I was younger, there wasn't a lot of good power tools when I started collecting tools in the late 90s. There was primarily Dewalt had a 14.4 system, and they also had an 18-volt system. And they were by far the best. My parents had bought me a Black & Decker 14.4 like in 98, and it was when I was racing, and also a Skil 7.2. They were kind of weak. And when one summer in 03 I worked construction, the guy I was working for, all he run was DeWalt 18-volt stuff, and I was very impressed. And I was wanting to buy a nice power tool set, but I just didn't have the money at the time to buy DeWalt. And I could have spent, $75 more and probably got DeWalt, but instead I settled for a Black & Decker 18-volt Firestorm set, and it just was not near the quality. I feel like I wasted my money. And then lo and behold, a few years later, I had got roped in to buying some used Craftsman 19.2 stuff, relatively not comparable to the DeWalts at that time. I don't know about nowadays. I hear some of the stuff's pretty good. But I made that mistake. I wish in the beginning I would just went with the DeWalt stuff. Now, the DeWalt stuff at that time was the 18-volt, which is what you see here. And these have been phased out. But the good thing is about DeWalt is they did make adapters to where you can run the new modern 20-volt batteries in your old 18-volt tools. That's what I've done, and they work fine. So that is an option, for you. And you can still pick up these 18-volt DeWalt tool sets fairly cheap at pawn shops, yard sales, Facebook, auctions, whatever. And the tools still work pretty good. Now, I know these newer, older 18-volt tools are not comparable to the newer stuff that's out there, the 20-volt. I get it. This impact is very weak compared to the more modern 20-volt DeWalt impact, but it still does the job. So if you're just starting out, I would not be afraid to buy some older used DeWalt stuff that's 18-volt that's in good shape, because you can pick up these adapters fairly cheap on eBay or on Amazon and be able to adapt them over to the lithium-ion batteries. There's even some good 20-volt DeWalt aftermarket batteries out there on the market. I do have a couple of them I bought in 2019, I think, or 2020, and they're still holding up. But I definitely would not settle for the cheapest power tool. I would look at, all my options. I love Milwaukee stuff. I love Makita. There's a lot of good options, but if you're just starting out, I would not be afraid to buy some of the older DeWalt stuff if it works and it's in good condition. I see some of this 18-volt stuff in my area, full sets for under $50 on Marketplace all the time. And yeah, these batteries are pretty well phased out, but you can still get aftermarket ones. But if I was to buy the 18-volt tools, I'd just go with the adapters and upgrade. So that's just my thought on the power tool system. I bought this DeWalt 18-volt drill on eBay. This is when I first got into DeWalt stuff in 2011 for like $40 with 2 batteries and a charger. And this was the start of my DeWalt collection. And from that day on, I just said, I'm going to go DeWalt. And a few years later, I was at a thrift store and found this circular saw for like $10. And I have put the adapter on it and run the 20-volt batteries, and it works fine for what I need. So this goes to show there is some stuff out there that you can pick up fairly reasonable on the DeWalt line. I would stay away from the 14.4 stuff because it's not really readily available. I would go with the 18-volt stuff because it is readily available and fairly reasonable. So my take is, why I would go with the DeWalt 18 volt stuff if you don't have the money for the 20 volt to start out. It will get you started, and then you can build your battery line. If you're already using the adapters, you bought the 18 volt stuff and you're on these adapters, then as you get money and you're more established, you can upgrade and buy more 20 volt tools, like the higher end impacts and everything, and some of the new cool cutoff tools and different things that's available. You can upgrade as you got money and time to do it, and it's not going to cost you a fortune to re-battery your line. Guys I worked with years ago bought the Snap One stuff, and it worked great. But now a lot of them that I talk to still, I never did buy the Snap One stuff, battery stuff, but a lot of them upgraded to the Milwaukee and DeWalt stuff now. And they talked about how expensive it's been to re-battery and retool everything. And it is. So, like I said, it's just my sense on it. I'm not, don't want to start an argument or anything. Everyone's got their own opinions. And yes, there is some good buys out there, even on some new DeWalt 20 volt stuff. Online, Black Friday shopping and different things. Thank you.